Welcome to Mojo Motivation and Mental Health, where we have conversations that change lives. I'm Mike Orlowski. And before we start today, if you're feeling isolated, if you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, if you feel like nobody believes in you, please reach out. Call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Hotline. Call 911 if it's an emergency. You're not alone. You matter, and it's okay to ask for help. Now, if this show does help you, these conversations are making a difference in your life, maybe they'll help someone else. Please like and subscribe because sharing the episode can really help someone else as well. Now, today's conversation is about how kindness can be a tool for mental health and how one simple idea spread across all 50 states and 25 plus countries. My guest is Braxton Kilgo, founder of I Believe in You, a movement built on bracelets with 4 words: I believe in you. Braxton's story starts with a football injury that ended his athletic dreams. And instead of becoming what he had planned on, he discovered entrepreneurship, built a successful marketing agency, and then realized his real mission, where Braxton learned isolation kills. Loneliness is a silent epidemic, and sometimes people need a simple, tangible way to show someone else, I believe in you. You matter. You're not alone. So he created bracelets. Wear one, share one, as Braxton says. And that simple idea has exploded across all 50 US states, 25 plus countries, and over 1,000 schools. And he's only just beginning. He's also got a mobile app that tracks your journey of the bracelets with stories and videos. It's partnerships with multiple nonprofits, conferences, sports teams, and schools. We're going to talk about how kindness is actually a mental health intervention, how a bracelet can combat isolation, and how Braxton turned his speech to 1,200 middle school students into a global movement. Braxton, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and excited to see what we get into. This is really awesome. So thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have you. I'm excited about it. Anything we can do to help one more person at a time. And I love the phrase wear one, share one. It's catchy. It helps people to kind of really catch on real quick and understand, hey, there's more to this than just myself.
Yes.
I would say let's start at the beginning, I guess, right? You played football. Tell us a little bit about your background. What led you here from football to your injury to becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up in a small town in Texas, and it's one of those places where it's kind of like you work in a farm, a factory, the oil field, or play football. And I
Hmm.
had seen enough of the other stuff and done enough of that work to know that I was going to chase football. And also because I really loved the sport. It's still to this day one of the favorite chapters of my life. And yeah, I mean, pretty much from the time I made that decision and probably like middle school until it ended, that was really my sole focus was playing that sport at the highest level. And my senior year of high school, first playoff game, 60 seconds into the game, got hit from 3 different directions and injured my leg. And that really kind of changed the trajectory of, where I was going. Thankfully, I still had a school pay for my scholarship and my rehab and everything like that. And I was still pushing for the dream for quite a while, and I just every day after practice was limping off the field and spending 2-3 hours in recovery. And
Mm.
thankfully, I had this really incredible, strength and conditioning coach that she told me one day after practice that she felt like she needed to tell me that I was made for something bigger than this, and she knew why I was there, but she just felt like she needed to tell me. And kind of asked me questions like, don't you want to be able to run around in the yard with your kids one day and things like that. And so
Hmm.
that really stuck in my head for the whole rest of the season, that by the time I got to the end of it, I told her I didn't know what it was. I don't know what I'm going to do. And if I leave the sports, like I'm going to have to leave school too.
Hmm.
And I did. I dropped out and came back home and worked on the farm and worked with my dad and did that for a while and put some money back from going to the oil field for a little bit too, and went back to school. While I was there in school, I was just trying to kind of find who I was without I'd never really even seen my name on anything without running back or football or whatever it is next to it. So I was kind of trying to find my identity, and I always enjoyed fashion and I always cared about kindness. And those were always kind of some core beliefs that I had and that my family had instilled in me too. And I decided I was going to start a business. And it was a clothing
Hmm.
company called Vision. The whole thing was about defining your own version of success, finding your vision, not what the world tells you that it is. And
Hmm.
what it is you love, go get it. And that not only the clothing was cool and it was growing, which is amazing, but the mission and the message was what really carried it. And
Hmm.
because I started getting asked to speak in middle schools and high schools and graduations and things like that. And the one that really changed everything was a middle school that I went to go speak at, that the principal decided to call me before I was supposed to show up just to let me know what the kids were going through, not only at school, but at home. And
Hmm.
she just spent 10 minutes giving me some really heartbreaking information, and I went through some things growing up myself. But when I got off the phone and I thanked her, I was with my best friend and I said, dude, I'm not qualified. I don't have the answers to those questions. I definitely wrote the
Hmm.
wrong speech. And I just said, I'll see you tomorrow. So we got some
Yeah.
stuff to figure out here. And so I frantically rewrote this new speech. And because I had a label printer, I was able to print these little stickers that said, I believe in you. And so I showed up, gave the speech, but the staff, before I started, handed out the stickers to all the kids. And at the end, I just told them, I said, hey, look, that sticker that I gave you is not yours. You can trade it with the person next to you, somebody in the hallway, your favorite teacher, or go home and give it to your mom, your dad, your brother, give it to your neighbor or the mailman. I don't care. But take that message I gave you today and find somebody else to share it with. And I left. The teachers were smiling, the kids clapped, I took some pictures. Honestly, I left thinking like, I don't know if I should sign myself up for this anymore. I've become more qualified. But luckily, a few days later, the principal had called me and told me basically that these kids just ran with those stickers. And they were being nicer to
Nice.
each other in the hallways, making new friends, nicer to the staff. And they had dozens of parents calling, telling different stories of what these kids made happen, the impact these kids made happen with these stickers. And, at first I kind of was laughing, like, really? With those ugly
Mm.
little stickers
Yeah.
I brought.
Right.
And it was just really cool to hear all the stories. And that's when I thought, man, I should do this at all schools for all kids. And then the more that I thought about it, I realized that most of the stories were from adults. And that's kind of where this
Yeah.
realization of, it only takes 5 seconds and 4 words to change somebody's day, maybe change their life, and that
Yeah.
we all have the power to be kind and make a difference. And I just thought, like, man, imagine if the whole world was doing this. I have a quote that I
Right.
always, if everybody helped somebody else, nobody would have to help themselves. And I think it's simple enough and holds enough depth within those 4 words, depending who says it to who and when, that it's just really powerful. And that's kind of when I stepped into the mission of, I want to encourage the world to just go be nice. And
Yeah.
that's how kind of where it started from.
And did that start? So that was before you got involved with marketing, then, correct?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. And I guess where did it go after your conversation with the middle school, and then how did that transition into the marketing? I know you said that the marketing agency also helped fund what you were doing.
Yeah. So basically, after that moment, I knew they couldn't be on ugly little stickers. So I decided to put them on bracelets, make them fashionable and cool and like something people would actually wear versus
Yeah.
maybe something they wouldn't, right? That's a big important piece here. And so I decided to put them on bracelets. And I didn't really have a big audience or anything at the time, but I became an athlete for a big fitness and supplement company. And I'd met some friends that had some following and, just had random friends that I knew, from college and different things like that. And I made some bracelets and packed them up and shipped them out to some friends and put them on a website and encourage people to go be nice and share it if they wanted to. And 8 to 10 months later, we sold to every state in the US. At that time, it was like 15, 16 different countries. And it was really amazing. People thought it was this huge company. The reality was I dropped out of college twice and it was just me, a laptop, a label printer, and a box of bracelets. And it was
Yeah.
going really, really amazing. And it was so cool. And if you can imagine the stories from, the middle school kids that we got, and then imagining
Right.
all these people around the world telling these stories. It was heavy, but it was just more evidence of these little acts of kindness can make big waves of impact. And so I had an idea of wanting to be able to share all of these stories that I was receiving with everybody else, but in a different way. I didn't want it to be a hashtag or people to have to post on their Instagram to tell it in different
Sure.
channels. I wanted to localize it somewhere. So I came up with the idea for a mobile app, but at that time I didn't really even know another entrepreneur, didn't really know much about business, and was having companies try to buy it from me. And basically just got to a point where to build what I wanted to build, it was going to take a whole lot more than what I had in front of me. And so
Hmm.
I didn't change the vision. So I decided to announce to everybody I was going to put it on pause, go learn how to be a business person, make some money, relationships, get the resources that we need to do this right because I didn't want to change the vision.
Sure.
And because I didn't really have money when I was starting my other businesses, I built my own site, shot my own videos, edited, sent it out to people. Like I only knew the little bit that I had done, but I had people
Hmm.
kind of asking me, who built this or how'd you do this? And it was me. So I started to just help some friends. And then sure enough, they started telling friends. And I had to start figuring out what people charge for stuff like that and saw it as an
Yeah.
opportunity to meet people, learn the things I needed to learn, make the money, get the resources. So I just went all in on the marketing and production side of things. And that
Sure.
scaled and grew and changed over a 9-year period until I basically was able to use enough of the money to fund the project. And now I've been doing IBIY full time for a little over a year.
So one thing that just popped in my head, my episode coming out next week is with Dr. Sam Meniar, who talks about the athletes and mental health. Was there any impact on your end with the mental health space and your mental health due to the injuries and having to try to play football in college, injured, and then fighting through that? Was there any impact on you from that perspective?
For sure. I mean, even at that chapter in my life, there was still personal things I was dealing with and family things I was dealing with. And certainly, you know, in that chapter of trying to figure out who I was and what I wanted to be, because it was so clear to me for so long and I didn't have to think about that. And when that was taken away, you really got to kind of dig in and see because I knew I wanted to do something meaningful and purposeful.
Hmm.
And I had to really kind of go for a search within myself of what that was going to be. So
Yeah.
I think it was from just personal things, the family things, the uncertainty, the, going from the oil field and dad and school and trying to figure out how to run a business. It was definitely
Hmm.
one of those things where I certainly struggled in certain areas throughout that chapter, but I think it looked different through, each one of those journeys for sure. And some were harder than others.
Sure.
But one thing that I would say that I'm very like lucky and blessed with is that chapter, even to today, 10 years later, I've still certainly struggled with things and still do now. But
Hmm.
once I kind of had this idea, had this experience with the middle school and saw this new vision, it was the first time I had been just as excited about something as I was with football. And
Hmm.
that gave me certainty, which I think has helped me a lot to where I didn't really have shiny object syndrome and anything else. Like I knew that I wanted to have that vision that was in my head become a reality. And all I
Sure.
wanted to do what I can to make that happen.
And the bracelet concept, which is now wear one, share one. I love the phrase. What led you down that path to say, hey, I want you to share this with someone, right? Because right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, you look at society today, people are not really good at giving praise, telling someone they're grateful for them, uh, telling them I believe in you. I think it's fantastic. It's amazing. What got you on that path? And then how do you translate that to convince others to do the same, right? Because there's a fear out there. A lot of us are afraid to just even say that to somebody. It's important. And I've learned the hard way that it's important that we do it. But what are your thoughts on how that has developed for you?
Yeah. So I'll tell you on the wear one, share one. To be honest, my whole team wanted that to be the slogan and I didn't. Gee, and people really like it. The funny thing is for me is like from the very beginning with the stickers, right? It was like I told them it is not yours. And that is
Yeah.
still really how I view our product is certainly it might be yours for a moment, but the purpose of them is to share them. And so we do say wear one, share one, but then I'm always in the background like give them all away, and not just so people buy more, but given away, the more that are out there, the more impact that can be made. And that's the purpose is to share the gift that, you have. And, to go to your topic of maybe not wanting, or maybe not even not wanting, but wanting to be able to make that impact or wanting to say something, but it's hard. Now, maybe you work up the courage to just say, I believe in you. And that's the thing too, is we all have the power to do that every single day, everywhere we go.
Yeah, we
But
do.
it's helpful when there's something that you have that is the intention and it kind of rewires something in your brain that helps set that
Yeah.
intention. But it also, we have some people that have 5-hour conversations after sharing a bracelet. We have people that just leave them for the server and don't say anything. And maybe they just say, I believe in you, and they leave. And so that's why I think with the words being on the bracelet, no matter where you are, whether you're super extrovert or introvert or whatever it may be, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. And we built a lot of things into the
Yeah.
product, especially into the tech, where there's a lot of ways for you to communicate it.
Yeah, I like that actually. Because you're right. Some people are introverts. They don't like to talk to someone as well. Maybe they are in a restaurant and that server, you could just see they've been beat up. They are having a day. The table next to you is maybe yelling at them, and you just wrap up the receipt with the bracelet and hand it off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, Now let's talk about kindness as a mental health tool. And I like this because for me, it's changed my life, and I've part of my mantra, if you will, is choosing to be kind, choosing to be happy, choosing to be kind. And I go out of my way now to try to be kind to others. And even in today's polarized world, right? Politics, people don't always agree. I can still have a conversation with somebody and still be kind to them and not necessarily agree with them while them not maybe reciprocating with me. But kindness really is a mental health tool. What are your thoughts on how kindness is, say, a mental health intervention and the impact that it has just by being kind, just by saying, I believe in you?
Yeah. So I have so many thoughts on this topic. I was just on a panel talking earlier today, and one of the guys brought up that one of his mentors told him when all of his stuff was seemingly falling apart, he didn't know what to do, he's trying to figure things out. His advice was stop thinking about it for a little bit and just go spend some time helping somebody else. Just
Hmm.
find where you can go help somebody else. And I won't
Yeah.
go into the whole detail, but it's like changed his life. Right. And
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that giving gives back. I don't think you need to give with
Hmm.
the intent to receive, but giving gives back, right? That what you put
Yeah.
out in the world is what comes back to you. What you fill your cup with is what overflows, all of those sayings. And kindness is one of those things. The more of it that you put out, the more that
Yeah.
it comes back to you. And I think it does so many things for you. I mean, it shows you that you have a superpower, right? I talk about kindness being a superpower. Everybody
Hmm.
has. We all, growing up,
Yep.
it's like, do you want to fly? Would you want to this or that? And those are fun things to think about. But one of the superpowers that all of us were given is that we all can be kind. We all have
Right.
the ability to do something so small that ripples, right? It's like the butterfly effect. And so I think there's so many different angles to look at it, but I don't see any downsides to being kind
No,
for some
no,
reason.
there's not.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, whether you're logical or you believe in the magic, whatever part of the spectrum that you're on, it's like being kind is good. It's good for everybody around you, including yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about this even with my wife, and because, I do follow the news and I see politics and I see how polarizing and angry some people can get. And I get frustrated because I think, you could just be kind. You don't have to agree on everything. We used to live in a time when I grew up, your next door neighbor might be different politically, but you'd still go over and borrow a cup of sugar. You'd still get together and have a cookout on the weekends. You'd still help them out if they called and they needed a jump start or a ride for somewhere. You know, it's becoming more polarized now than ever, and we need to get back to, the kindness aspect and just be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that and I can go like so deep into this, but especially in the media and politics and just the world and the narrative that is being pushed is that everybody has to choose left or right or this or that. And there's not an in between, and that's not correct. Nothing in the
Right.
world is
I agree.
truly black or white. There's lines and there's variables. There's so much more to it. And it's one of those things I've talked about this with my friends and my team a bunch of times. It's like I'm one of the people that like I don't watch the news really. Every once in a while, I may look at something, but I don't really pay
Hmm.
attention to a lot of these things for a number of reasons. But the things that I do see on the news or the internet, wherever, I go out into the world and 99% of the time I see zero of that.
Right.
People are being nice. People are open the doors. Every race, religion, politics, it is that way. And I know for
Yeah.
sure it is not everywhere, but the way that it's being
Sure.
pushed is that this thing has wrapped the world and everybody is on different teams. And a big mission for
Right.
us is to show the world that we're all a whole lot more alike than we think. And
Agree.
a big thing that we want to push is to show the world that we're all a lot more alike than we think.
Because we really are. And we have more in common than we do not. And like you said, and I agree, if you walk outside, 9 times out of 10, you're not seeing the same things that they're trying to push, especially with the media. And of course, the media, and I try to remind people, is the media is there to get ratings and to sell ads. And so they're going to push the narrative. They're going to push the bad news, whatever gets the best ratings, whether it's good for us as humans or not. And so
Right.
we have to just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Now, this is another one when I was really depressed, and it sticks with me. Isolation kills as one of your starting points. And when you're depressed, and I can speak from having been there, is I was very isolated, especially mentally isolated. I did keep to myself a lot, but at the same time, mentally, I was very isolated. How does the bracelet help combat the isolation? And what does it look like from your perspective as to how it can help with maybe getting people out of their shell just a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a number of things with that, and at the end of the day too, this is just a piece of plastic, right? That's really
Hmm.
all that it is. And it's really about the intention. And so whether you bought it from us, got it from somebody else, whatever it may be, we have certain parts of the language that we share is wear it until you're inspired to share it.
Hmm.
And to kind of go deeper into that, it's maybe you're looking down, remembering that moment that a stranger or somebody really important to you gave that to you, and you can wear it as
Hmm.
that reminder. Or maybe it's a reminder for you to believe in you, whatever it is. And like it is yours until you feel inspired to share that thing that helped you in isolation, helped you remember, kept whatever you used it for to then be able to share that with somebody else. So, I think
Yeah.
the bracelet is certainly a tangible tool, a reminder, an intentional gift. But ultimately, it's all the other things that come with it, right? Like we had really cool clothes in my clothing company, but I wasn't getting asked to go speak at places because I had a really successful brand. I was getting asked because of the message. And so I think
Hmm.
that's what it's all about is, people certainly need to believe in themselves more and know that they have that magic, they have that power, understand the things we talked about a minute ago, right? When you're feeling that way, for one, go outside, get some sunshine, like do the things that you innately know you
Yes.
need to do. But you would be surprised, right? If like that guy's story feels like his whole life is in shambles and the way that he fixed it and turned his life around was by not even worrying about his problems and just going to see who else he could help, and everything came together. And so,
Yeah.
not again, it depends how people's brains work, which kind of explanation they like, but even, from a
Yeah.
very logical standpoint, like those are formulas. The sunshine outside, helping other people, all of those things do good things for you. Being kind, giving gives back. Like even if you don't get woo woo, look at the data, look at the stats, and know that at least it's something worth trying to do. And I don't think anybody's ever went and been kind and been like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
I really wish I hadn't done that. Right. It's transformational.
Yeah.
Now, how does the app work? Because I think you've got the app now, correct?
Yes, sir.
How does that work? So let's say I give it to somebody. How do they know to go into the app? Is there something on the bracelet, or how does that all work?
Yeah. So, I mean, you could type in I believe in you, it comes up. You can type in IBIY, which
Yeah.
is on the bracelet, and it comes up. And if you gave somebody the packaging, it's all on there and there's a QR code. But also on the bracelet, there's a QR code that'll go to a landing page, explains what it is.
Cool.
You can download the app. Also, it has a RFID, like NFC chip inside of it. So even if you just touch it to your phone, it'll also pull up. There's kind of a number of different
Nice.
in the tech app world that we call user journeys. So
Yeah.
we try to build as many touch points as we can, mainly for those moments, like leaving it for your server. You didn't want to say something, or maybe it's new to you and you don't want to try to explain to somebody this whole concept in mobile app at the moment. So there's a bunch of levels to it. There's certainly
Yeah.
people who will spill the beans and explain the whole thing to somebody because they're so excited. But we try to put some
Yeah.
things in place where even if they don't get the chance to, they can still find it and figure it out. And ideally, we get it to the point where people are like, "Oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of that," in which
Yeah, of
that's
course.
happening, right? But it's that, and then at the same time too, without the app, you know, I wanted to be able to capture these stories. There's well over 100,000 of these bracelets out in the world, and and this is like even before the app and before we even had the technology that we were still putting out these bracelets.
Mhm.
There's thousands and thousands of stories that we'll never hear, and that's okay.
Sure.
So we do love the app. We want to create a positive social media, and there's so many other things that we're going to have built into this over time. But
Mhm.
the app is really just like a fun part, an extension to get people excited and get people connected and give them resources and something positive to consume. But also at the end of the day, if there's just people out there using them and passing them on simply because of what it says on it and nothing else, we're good with that.
I like that, especially the sharing of stories. And, connection matters, and we need more connection in this world, and this is another way of connecting to somebody, and oddly enough, potentially connecting to somebody you may never have met other than having a handoff
Ex-
of a bracelet. I like that. Now, I know you've got some campaign and strategic partnerships like Band Together. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the partnerships that you do or are looking to do and the impact that they're having?
Yes, sir. So before I dive into Band Together, I'll give a little bit of high level context. So
Sure.
we make bracelets that say, I believe in you. The intention is to share them with somebody else. And we created a mobile app that allows you to document the moment of receiving it and leave a message for the next person. So when you
Mhm.
get a bracelet, by the way, there's zero tracking capabilities. I always have to say that because people think, you know,
Good. Yeah, right.
yeah, you can see everywhere the bracelet's been, all the cities, the countries, the people, and their stories. You can connect with them. You get to leave the message for the next person.
Mhm.
And as that gets passed on, you're able to see where it goes. And it actually measures your impact in the app of how many bracelets you have, how many cities and countries, and how many people were impacted. And so that's like the core
Yeah,
concept of our bands. But when we talk about wanting to change the world, there's mental health and depression and suicide and addiction and lack of food and lack of schools, lack of education. I could go very, very, very deep down the list of things that would change the
sure.
world if that was changed. And so when we started to map this out, I was like, man, we're going to have like 100 different arms of our company. And we're going to have to hire all these people that are experts in these things. And then I was like, well, why don't we just find people who've already dedicated their life to solve this problem and know everything about it and they're passionate about it? How can we just be an amplifier of what they've already
Right.
built? And so what we decided to do was create these co-branded bracelets, packaging. When you touch it for the first time, it's a video from their company. You can donate, you can reach out, you can go to their events, their resources. And it's different because we work in so many different industries. But that's what we
Yeah,
want to do is be able to attach ourselves to causes that we believe in, help them launch their own movement with us, and ultimately create this army of kindness to make the world a better place. And so
yeah,
for the Band Together campaign, this is probably this is a lot more specific to nonprofits. One of the people that we're working to bring in as an actual partner of the company right now is like an expert in helping nonprofits for the last like 10 plus years. And he's kind of brought to us a lot of the challenges that they face. And one of those
mhm,
is fundraising and awareness and, doing these campaigns. And so we created the Band Together campaign because we have the influencers and the reach and this tool that can be used for
yeah,
fundraising and the ability to brand it as theirs. So basically, what we're doing is we're finding these really awesome nonprofits, and some have a lot of reach and some don't. But
sure.
basically, building these causes that we really believe in, creating bracelets for them because the bracelets have pretty good margins. We have the ability to
Mhm,
give a large amount back to them and be able to give some to the influencers as well to then,
mhm,
along with our company, promote these campaigns and invite people to get the bracelets like they already wanted, right? People buying from our site, but now they can help support other causes and different things like that.
Yeah.
And a big piece for us too is what we didn't want to do. And I don't knock anyone that does this. I think it's great. But we didn't just want to say like 10% to mental health.
Yeah.
We wanted to have real causes and real campaigns, and that you buy a bracelet from us for one of our nonprofits that we work with is called Vet Life. And they do so many different things for veterans, but a lot of it is PTSD and suicide. And
Hmm.
so able to get this really cool bracelet, but also know that you're supporting that. And again, this hasn't went live yet, but then also being able to see the content and the things that were able to happen because you purchased a bracelet, not just us
Yeah.
saying where it's going.
Well, I would liken sharing the stories as I was thinking, kind of like the old message in a bottle, and now maybe the next step, the pen pal, right? And now this is the almost like the digital pen pal
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's pretty cool, being able to see where it started and the reason that it went to that next person. It's just so cool to see that, this started with a customer in Oklahoma that gave it to the server, that gave it to their son, that gave it to their friend at school, that ended up giving it to their mom that traveled here to see some, like being able to see all of that happen from one bracelet and all of the
Yeah.
stories of, 10 people later, this beautiful moment that happened that was so simple, but to that person, so intricate and important and
Yeah.
impactful that all of that happened from a piece of plastic.
Yeah. I really like that. I'm actually doing a road trip this summer. I'm going to order some so that I have them hopefully in time for the road trip because I think it'll come in perfect for that. Now, do you still do the school tours? I think you said you do, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so far we've spoken a little over 1,000 schools. Our school tour is called the Culture Shift Tour, and it's led by one of our partners. His name is Jared Scott. He's literally like the most phenomenal speaker ever. He's been speaking in
Nice.
schools. He was like 15 years old. He's never done anything
Oh,
else.
wow.
Super. He has all the awards and credentials and a master's in psychology. He's also a musician. I mean, he is the perfect person for this. And it was really
Nice.
awesome because I knew I always wanted to keep the school tours, speaking in schools as part of what we do. And me and Jared were just friends
Hmm.
for long, and he used our bracelets everywhere that he went. And one day we just were having a conversation. I was like, dude, what is your biggest vision for this? Like the biggest, most awesome version of it. And he told me, and I told him the biggest, most awesome version of what I'm doing. And I told him, I said, I think my vision gets bigger if you're over here. And I think your vision gets bigger if I'm over there. Why don't we just partner? And so that's kind of where
Hmm.
that came from. And now I still go and speak. We have some other speakers on our team, but Jared and his wife and a few more people on the team, they really lead that now while I'm building the B2B. And then I'm slowly phasing out of the B2B right now to go into B2C. And so we're kind of just slowly building, but yeah, we're always in the schools and doing cool stuff with the kids.
But it's so important to reach these kids at the school level early and often because they are on whether we like it or not, they're on social media, they're seeing the same bad news that we're seeing a lot younger than we ever saw it. And when I was a kid, it was more local news. We didn't really see as much national news because it was the early, I hate to say, early days of cable, but it was the earlier days of cable. So we really didn't see as much global and national news. Now these kids see everything on a global basis instantly. So I think it's more important now than ever to get into the schools. Now that I believe you said direct to consumer is also your strategy as well that you're growing, and you already had a direct to consumer model. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you also are building out like a two pack strategy.
Yes. So we started out with direct to consumer, but I put it on pause, came back. A lot of things have changed since then. And a big piece of this is building the tech and the platform and the infrastructure. Like,
Oh, sure.
you know, people always tell me too, because I'm very particular about how it works and functions and looks and all of these things.
Yeah,
And I certainly know that things don't have to be perfect, and we're in a pretty unique
yeah,
position. We have the ability to get in front of a lot of people very quickly. So we're trying to just make
yeah.
sure that we do it right this time. And, people are like, oh, well, like Facebook was clunky when it came out. And it's like, yeah, but there was nothing else to compare it to. Now,
Right.
something loads slow or doesn't swipe and everything that you're used to it doing everywhere else doesn't do that. Well, these companies have put billions of dollars into their platform. So we've been really making sure to move in the right speed that we're able to build and hold the capacity. That's
Hmm.
why we are building out the B2B side before we relaunched the D2C because we had a little bit more control with the numbers. And so
Yeah.
we have the D2C live right now. We're just not marketing and promoting it at the moment, but we're about
Okay.
to. We're just finishing like infrastructure and being able to scale because one of the lucky things about
Yeah.
me kind of coming up with and starting this 10 years ago, putting it on pause, I've just been talking to people all day long, every day around the world for 10 years saying, when I build this thing, I'll let you know. Well, now
Yeah.
we've built and they're like, well, you let me know when to promote it. And so we're just making sure that we have everything ready for the hockey stick and create a really good experience for everybody that comes into the ecosystem as a follower and likes the stuff as a customer, the tour, the B2B, whatever level that you come into our world as a wave maker is what we call them.
Hmm.
Want to make sure that the experience is awesome and you have a community and you're connected and everything works.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think that makes sense, and I'm excited to see where it goes and where it grows. Now, what are your thoughts for someone that's say feeling isolated right now? They're feeling down. Maybe they don't have the bracelet. Maybe they don't know about it. Maybe they're going to hear about it for the first time. If they're listening right now, like nobody believes in them, what would you tell them?
It's a great question. The good thing is you don't need a bracelet for any of this stuff. And I think conversations like this help. And if they are listening, knowing that, going on social media or looking at our website or whatever it is, we might look like now we have all of these credentials and doing all of these awesome things. Like I still struggle with stuff. I still have
Hmm.
days are not as good as I wanted them to be. And I think that
Right.
reminder in the part of the beginning of this conversation is that we're all a lot more alike than we think. And, I know one thing that is true is, pain is relative, right? The
Hmm.
deepest pain that I've ever felt and the deepest pain that you've ever felt to us is the deepest pain that we've ever felt. That's the depth of it that we know,
Right.
even
Yeah.
though your story might be on paper 1,000 times worse than mine, right? Just understanding that you know, the stumble is a part of the dance. Nothing great was ever built overnight. All of these
Yeah.
different things that we know and kind of write off as these quotes. It's just to know that it's true and that life is sometimes hard and it's part of it. And it's the thing that's shaping you into who you're supposed to be for this life and your purpose because you are here on purpose. And so, for one, I would let them know that I believe in them. If you're listening, I know that
Hmm.
you believe in them. And I don't have to
Yep.
know you believe in you. It doesn't matter what you've done or what you feel, any of those things. There's people that believe in you and care about you. And the world is better because you're in it. The world is a unique
Hmm.
and it's place. And that's why I think it's so important for people to have these conversations again, whether you're rich or have a lot of followers or whatever bullet points you want to put down. We all put on our pants the same way. We all feel
Yep.
pain. We all have the seasons of life that is a part of this experience. And you just got to keep going and
Yeah.
start to kind of figure out again, everybody's brains are different. If you're logical and you need everything to make sense, understand that you're never going to understand everything and try to
Right. That was me. Yeah.
find those things, because it's like with different religions, different things, people are so logical. And I'm kind of one of those people. I want to break it down the same way
Yeah.
that you do that on the limiting beliefs that you have and the different things that you experience. And you're like, well, this has happened to me, or I did this, I couldn't be forgiven, or my situation is this, or whatever it is. Go watch a couple documentaries and look at some of the coolest stories that you've ever heard and the person who inspires you the most, where they came from, what happened to them. And think of some of these quotes that you don't look at with that same logical mindset because it actually serves you if you learn that truth. It's the simple stuff like go outside, be nice to somebody else, get in the sunshine, try to go be
Yeah.
kind, and try to just believe in the best because we're here. Try to make the best of it. Find the things that magnetize you to it and the things that are you don't have to figure out. Find the things that pull your heart closer to it and get close to that and find a way to be in that as much as you can. And you might have to remove some people from your world or you might have to change some of your habits, but just knowing that
Yeah.
you're the one that's in control of that.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing what's possible when we realize that. And my last question, I guess, would be is you started with a speech to 1,200 middle schoolers, and it was a simple idea, and you gave them stickers to give away. And now it's bracelets, and now it's in all 50 states and over 25 countries. To you, what's possible when we decide that kindness is a tool for mental health and we can use it to help others?
Hmm. I think changing the world is possible, and I may have said this earlier, but if everybody helped somebody else, nobody would have to help themselves. Right. And
Yep.
I don't know why I keep going back to this logical brain thing in this conversation, but I saw the science, the data behind what these cheap, ugly little stickers that said, I believe in you on them did to
Hmm.
impact the community because of a bunch of kids. They weren't equipped to go do anything and like make this huge impact in their town. And they did it with an ugly little sticker. The bracelets, these people all over the world, the amount of stories that came in was from a piece of plastic, a little moment,
Yeah.
no words, or 5 seconds, or 5 hours. That has changed the world because all of those things, even if the bracelet never moved again, ripple out into the world. And so I think as far as using it as a tool, that's a big part of our mission is I don't care if you ever buy a bracelet from us or not. Even if you just go start telling people you believe in them, like you are changing the world. And if we could get everybody
Yeah.
on this planet to go out once a day, once a week, once a month, and just tell one person they believe in them, or just be kind, the
Yes.
world, I think, would immediately change overnight.
It will be amazing the impact. And where can people find I Believe in You, learn more about you, connect with you, your website, all that stuff?
Yeah. So if you want to connect with me directly, my Instagram and my LinkedIn are both just Braxton Kilgo, first name, last name, no spaces or numbers or anything. But to check out I Believe in You, social media and website are both IBelieveInYou.io.
.io. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, Braxton. I appreciate you joining today. I Believe in You is showing that kindness isn't just nice, that it's necessary for mental health, and it truly can make a difference. It's going to go a long way, and you're going to do great things with it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And for those of you out there, please make sure you check out the I Believe in You website. You connect with Braxton. If you're in an industry looking for a partnership, reach out to Braxton and I Believe in You. If you're a school or business organization, there's opportunities for you to have his team out to do a talk and have a conversation, to partner. We can all make a difference. And if I were a listener out there, here's what I would want you to take from today. you know, Braxton's story starts with a football injury, something painful that seemed like the end of his potential career, and it became the beginning of a global movement, a global kindness movement. Three, 4 words: I believe in you. That's it. It's simple, it's tangible, it's powerful. It's reached all 50 states, over 25 countries, 1,000 plus schools, thousands and thousands of people it's impacted already, and it's going to impact millions more in the coming years, and I'm excited to see the progress. Just remember, isolation kills. Loneliness is a silent epidemic. And sometimes people need a simple physical reminder that someone believes in them. So if you are feeling isolated right now, grab a bracelet, wear it, and then share it. Tell someone, I believe in you. I believe in you. And if you are building something out there, a platform or movement, just remember, listen to what the world needs. Your pain becomes your purpose. Your injury can become your mission. Your health scare can become transformational. If you are struggling right now with isolation, thoughts of suicide, call or text 988, the Suicide Crisis Lifeline. Remember to call 911 if it's an emergency. You're not alone. Someone believes in you. I believe in you. Braxton believes in you, and you do matter. Just remember to like and share this episode to help someone else. I'm Mike Orlowski. This is Mojo Motivation and Mental Health. Choose happiness, choose kindness, choose to believe in others, and get your mojo back.